Hi there, Mike Robinson with BlackHawk Paramotor USA. Today is a special day. BlackHawk Paramotor has introduced a trike. Yes, it's a trike. We all know that the quad is much safer and much more stable than a trike. However, for those guys that are already flying, or gals mind you, that are already flying and have reasonable amount of experience, you can take your foot launch unit and set it on this trike and fly on wheels. What's the purpose of the trike? What's the purpose of the LITE Trike? Lightweight, the ability to take your foot launch paramotor and put it on this, and this trike will fit pretty much anywhere. It breaks down to next to nothing. What we have here is all the components. I'm going to quickly show you just how easy it is to put this together and put your paramotor, your foot launch paramotor, on it and fly. There's very few components to the LITE Trike. One, we have the main frame. The main frame supports the steering head, as well as your foot launch paramotor unit itself. So the first thing to do is lay it out and take the steering head and simply slide it together. The next thing we're going to do is install the left rear axle. I've already put the wheel on. Notice the nut. When you put the wheel on, tighten the nut so that the wheel spins, but it's not loose. To determine if it's the left side or the right side, look at the little flapper here. It's welded to the bottom of the axle spindle itself. So this tells me this is the left side. If you need any help installing any of these, you can always use a little bit of WD-40 on it as well. The next thing to do is take one of the pins, one of the 3 pins, slide it in from the top. That way, if this ever comes loose, a pin is not going to fall out from the top as easily as it would if it was installed from the bottom. Lock it down, and now we move to the other side. You know, if I wasn't talking into the camera, I'd probably be flying by now. Now you see, the trike is already together. Honestly, pulling it out of your car, do we need 3 things? Let's give it 3 minutes. One of the last things to do besides your pre-flight check will be to take these clamps and open them. Notice how I have the O-rings set. They're down flat around the clamp. The idea is we're going to set your frame down on top of there, put the clamp over it, put the bolt up, and spin it down. Then, to secure this piece, we're going to use this O-ring, and it will hold not only the thumb screw, but also the bolt onto the clamp. Pretty unique feature, very lightweight, very easy to do, and it secures your paramotor very well. Prior to putting the paramotor on the trike, I'm going to show you a little feature that if perhaps you have a small pickup truck or what have you, this will allow you to package this unit up without taking apart some of it. Pull the pin, slide the axle off, the cover, slide it off. We've just moved the axles in almost a foot, making the width of the trike a lot narrower. If this is a benefit to you, there you have it. I went ahead and set the paramotor, foot launch paramotor, on the trike now. These little sleeves that you see here came with the trike. You're going to take these sleeves and open them up and slide them on the frame in a position that matches the 3 clamps on each side of your paramotor frame. Simply spread it open, slide it over, slide the frame back a little bit, and snug her up. Now I'll check the other sleeves and make sure that they're aligned. Very, very easy to do. The sleeves are all aligned now. Next, close up the clamp. Make sure that the washer is against the thumb screw or thumb nut. And tighten each one of these down. You don't need to strip them, they just need to be snug. Now that you've gotten the nuts tight, you're going to take this rubber O-ring and place it from the inside over the outside. In other words, over the outside of the bolt. The purpose for the O-ring is to keep the bolt itself sucked up and locked down on the cover that keeps the paramotor connected to your trike. Okay, right now I'm doing the same thing to the other side. As you can see, the installation is complete and this unit is actually ready to fly. However, I'm going to point out a few things to you and I want you to pay close attention to what I'm telling you. I want you to do a very careful pre-flight. Putting your foot launch motor on a trike, even though you're flying foot launch when you're up there, it's a little bit different on the ground. So I'm going to explain a couple of things that will be different. First of all, like every paramotor or new paramotor, you want to check your CG. You can do that by hanging it from a tree or a swing set or whatever, just like you've probably done before. You are going to be moving your hang points forward because the trike is a little bit heavier up front. Okay? What you'll notice as you hang yourself is that this seat is going to come up when you're all the way off the ground. In other words, the trike is all the way off the ground. This seat is going to come up about 4 inches. When you're taxiing the machine, you're going to be sitting on the base. What's the purpose of this base? Why am I sitting on this base? Simple. It doesn't put any strain on your backbone of your cage or your frame. Nothing is stressing this kestrel frame at all with regards to this trike. Again, when you come off the ground, the glider lifts you up all the way off the ground. The trike will settle approximately 4 inches. All your weight shift, everything will be exactly the same as foot launch, other than you've only added 30 pounds and you've got wheels. One of the things that I've noticed in test flying the trike is that it's a little different than a quad. As some of you know, when I get in a quad or you get in the quad, you get in and you put a seatbelt on and that's all there is to it. Well, a couple times I've gotten all set in it and my leg straps and everything are on and I go to launch and I go, oh, where's the straps? I forgot to actually get in the harness. So don't forget to follow protocol exactly the same as if you were to foot launch. When you do your CG, you're going to have the front end of the trike about 10 or 11 inches higher than the rear. Make sure that you also double check the hang of the frame itself. There's no adjustability there, but I don't want you to add throttle on a bigger weight shift motor and it stands you up, thereby bringing the cage in closer to your lines. So double check to make sure that you are raked back with the frame far enough. If you have to elevate or lower the front end of the trike to make it balance, it's not going to affect the trike's performance at all. As many of us already know, trikes are not as stable as quads. Again, experienced pilots will be sold the BlackHawk Lite Trike. But one thing I will point out to you is the steering. Whenever I place my feet on the steering, I don't want it to the outside of the steering head. That gives me much too much leverage. In other words, if I move my leg just a little ways, that wheel is going to move a lot. Take your foot and put it to the inside of the steering head. This gives you far more stability. And remember, if your glider moves off to the right or to the left, let's say to the right for example, make sure you steer a little bit underneath that glider. When you first get in your BlackHawk Lite Trike, you're going to notice that you're hunched over just a little bit. In other words, you're falling forward just a little bit. The reason for that is the backbone of the Kestrel is bent forward. As soon as I elevate and I come off the ground, I will be back to my normal, super comfortable foot launch flying position. Also, weight shift is not an issue. I've weight shifted the tar out of this machine and I don't even know that the trike is there. That's really neat. On behalf of BlackHawk Paramotor, I would like to thank you for watching this video. Please make a comment. Positive or negative, we want to hear from you. This is really a fabulous machine, and those of you that purchase one will love it for years to come. If you have any questions whatsoever for Heidi or I or anybody in the shop, please feel free to call us at the office on the number on the screen.